Good evening. In accordance with Government Code Section 551, I will now call this meeting of the School Health Advisory Council to order at 4:35 p.m. I would like to thank you all for being here and for being members of this great committee. And this is our final meeting of the school year. So in advance, thank you guys for all of your input and support in helping making important decisions for Duncanville ISD. So we're going to start off with the welcome, of course, as I just did, an introduction of the members. My name is Letitia Griffin, and I am your SHAC chair for the 21, 22, 22, 23 school year. So I'm completing my term. We'll go around and let everyone introduce themselves.
Hello, my name is Shayla Pratt. I'm the Director of Counseling for Duncanville ISD.
Hello, my name is Maylene Grant. I'm the Director of Nursing for Duncanville ISD.
My name is Pamela Brown. I'm the Chief of Student Services and Campus Support.
Noella Wavers, Risk Manager, Duncanville ISD.
Tracy Markham, Director of Nutrition for Duncanville ISD.
Rosemary Honorable Patient Care Services Manager, Community Pharmacist.
I'm Patrice Milton, a parent volunteer.
Alex Hawkins, Head Athletic Trainer, Sports Medicine Director, Duncanville ISD.
Hi, Alicia Chenevert, one of the assistant principals at Duncanville High School.
And she's a student in training, learning all great things as part of our SHAC committee tonight. So the Duncanville ISD SHAC website, there's all the information from current and previous meetings on that website. Agendas are posted there on the board book online. Review of the minutes are available online as well, and also video recordings. And for this meeting on the agenda, when you signed in, you were able to pick up an agenda. If you were not, then we'll go ahead and get one for you and make sure you have it at your table. But just to be able to go over, of course, we call the meeting to order, welcome and introductions, approval of the meeting minutes from the previous meeting. Do you guys have access to that? If you could look online and view. Oh. Yes. Forgive me, there's so many options for. All right, so our last meeting was on February 6th. And the minutes, and it'll give you an opportunity to review it on the screens up top. And of course, if you have access to your computer to be able to pull up the minutes, you can also view it there if it's a little easier. And by indicating your approval of the previous meeting's minutes, if you could please raise your right hand. Any opposed? All right, good job. Thank you, guys. Okay, so I'd like to call to the podium Ms. Noella Wavers and Ms. Maylene Grant, and they are going to go over our employee wellness program.
Okay, good evening, everybody. My name is Noella Wavers, as you heard. I'm the Risk Manager here at Duncanville ISD, and I have been here for almost 10 years now. We haven't been doing this program for 10 years, but we started it maybe when we came to this building, well, a little bit after we moved to this particular building. But anyway, of course, you all know Ms. Maylene Grant, Director of Nursing, so we're going to be presenting together. And initially, we'd like to just go over the program and what are some of the things that we've been doing here recently at Duncanville ISD. Okay, that's just the introduction. So, just a little bit about the program. Who is involved, the who, what, when, and where. And basically, how we started this was, we said we had to have some sort of way to project this information to all employees so all employees would have access to it. So we didn't want to bombard any principals or assistant principals, so we said, well, let's garner the support of the secretaries, the clerks, the various employees at the campuses who have access to all the employees, whether it's at the campus or department level. And so we call them our safety resource people, whether they're at a campus, whether they're in operations, or wherever they might be. And so that's basically who we start with. We disseminate this information to them. And what is some of the type of information? Well, here are some of the resource people receiving certificates and award monies, and there is some money associated with it because we partner with not our health insurance companies, but our workers' compensation and our property and vehicle insurance companies that we do business with, or they're insuring all of our property and things like that. So at this particular presentation, it was at the secretary's meeting, and that's where we normally provide them with this information. And that's another group. Some of those employees aren't here, but I know you all see Ms. Wills. She was at Byrd at the time, and so that's when that campus won that particular award. And then the what types of campaigns. So we call it both safety and wellness because it incorporates both. We want our employees to be well, and we want them to be safe so they can be here to educate our students, and also if it's a custodian, we need them here to clean the schools. We need nutrition to, of course, cook the food and have the food available for the students. So all of these departments are important in safety and wellness. Okay, so we have an award that's called the Top Safest Schools and the Top Safest Operations Departments. So as you can see, in 2021, that was during, I guess, the COVID time, but we still had schools, and we still had school going on, and we had safe schools, and schools that, when we say safe, they did not have any workers' compensation accidents that involved doctor care. And we have to give credit to our nurses because the nurses are the first point of contact that the majority of employees go to. Did you think that's the case?
Usually when an accident occurs on the campus, the first person that employees see is the school nurse. And the school nurse usually will administer first aid, do an assessment head to toe, and advise, whether or not they need to go for further medical care, or, we always are in communications with the secretary and the principal that's on that campus to let them know what's going on. But the first point of contact is usually with the school nurse, and then we'll also get in contact with Ms. Wavers to make sure that everything has been done that needs to be done for that employee.
So as you can see, the safety and wellness part, we're working with that together. And just here recently, I think it was Brandenburg and who is that up there? I can't even. Summit. And then the operations department was purchasing and warehouse this past year. So we have other programs that you may have seen. The bus driver of the year, that's another program that we have, and that's with the operations department. And then the Safe Employee Recognition Campaign, that's one where, and when we say these campaigns, these are all employees giving safety a voice or being an example for safety throughout their department or at their campus. So a lot of these programs, and they win certain things, whether it's a jacket or a shirt with their name on it, or it's a number of different things that they that have been given to them. Just like I indicated, those checks that you saw. Let's go back to the checks. So they can, these checks were like $400 for the campuses or the departments to purchase safety-related items at their campus so that they could continue to be safe and that kind of thing. And that's a plaque, that's a traveling plaque that's in that photograph that they get with our vendor's name on it and also, of course, the district's name. And they get to hang that in their department as an example of being a safe school or department. And then these campaigns are normally in the fall and spring semester. So you may have seen these. I know the principals may have seen it, and other employees should see it also. But a lot of times, the secretaries, sometimes they get bombarded with information, so they can't maybe disseminate. But we have a plan for that going here forward. As you can see, some of the programs that we had as part of the wellness, really, in quotations, wellness part, would be these particular campaigns. And as you can see, we've had togetherness. Well, we gave out a deck of cards and a cup for drinks. Well, when I say drinks, I mean like sodas and things. But anyway, you all knew what I meant, even though I said cards and then, but sodas. And then, so you see that there, but it's trying to make sure that people, our employees are together, or either they go and have fitness things together, like, you see groups doing the wellness challenges and things like that. And then there was another one that says, color your palette. And we gave out that bag, that little green bag. I mean, maybe you've seen it around the campuses, that employees had an option. What happens, employees have to sign up where it says sign up now by a certain date. And even if they just sign up and then try to read the materials, they get the little gift or prize. So it's an incentive for them to read the material and do some of the things that's on there because it's all a part of their wellness. And then the other one was take heart. And it was meaning that pause, like a paw, but also pause to reflect on certain things, not to always just jump, just slow down, take your time and do certain things. And then the employees were given that eye mask. And then the campaign that we're having right now, it's one where it says add and subtract. You add, can you go to the next one? You add water and you subtract sugar the next week. Or you subtract unprocessed foods, overly processed foods, and eat in vegetables or something like that. So all of this material is provided to the secretaries, and it's all on one email, so it doesn't have to be a number of different emails that go out to the secretary. It's just one that goes to them, and then they could just disseminate it, forward it to all the employees. So these are the various things that go out. So it's like newsletters or emails that they can get and review at their own leisure. That's it. Okay.
In health services, we also try to encourage our employees to be healthy, eat healthy, exercise. So we just completed a Choose to Lose wellness challenge. And the campus that lost the most weight was Hyman. They lost a total of 187 pounds. We give incentives. We had gave them lunch bags and a pedometer for them participating. So our goal is just to encourage our staff to participate in the wellness challenges. The nurses are usually the ones who have their employees to come and sign up, but we also send it through communication so that everyone knows about it. Our next challenge that's coming up is to drink more water wellness challenge, and so that should be coming out soon, so I'm encouraging participation. That campus, only the participants, because not everybody on your campus will participate, but only the participants, they'll receive a free healthy breakfast for the Water Wellness Challenge.
Okay, so what we plan to do, Nurse Grant and I plan to work closer together. Even though I'm in human resources and she's in health services, we plan to partner to come up with more enhanced programs or to get the information out to more employees. I think employees are getting it, but then they're kind of lax in maybe doing some of these things. Or one thing I think what happens is time. We all are busy. We don't have a whole lot of time to do a number of different things, but we want to increase district-wide utilization of these safety and wellness resources. And we want to come up with a wellness and safety newsletter. We can utilize some of the information that we get already and then provide that to the employees. And then
We want to do the comprehensive district-wide wellness plan so that when school starts in the fall, you all will know each quarter or however often we're going to do it, you all will know what's coming up. But we really want to increase awareness and increase participation. The nurses are usually good about getting the information out for their campus. So what Ms. Waivers give out to the secretary, she's going to send it to me, and I will end up forwarding it to the nurses and just encouraging participation, because if our staff is not well, then they're not going to be at work, or if they are at work, their attendance, they're not focused. Just like when our students are not well, they're not able to focus. So we want our wellness to start from top and go all the way to trickle to our students.
And I think, is that all? Yes, that's all. So we appreciate you all listening to us, and at least you're having a little idea about the employee wellness program and what we plan to do going forward.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for our risk management and wellness department? I will offer a suggestion. Another layer to support the communication is to, like, for example, at the high school, to have an administrative partner for communication to ensure that it reaches beyond the secretary desk, and thinking about the internal newsletters that go out as well. Because I didn't know, add this, subtract that. That was new, so that's going in our newsletter. But I think that'll be another layer to help reach everybody. So something to consider. All right. At this time, we'd like to ask Ms. Markham to come to the podium and talk about child nutrition update.
Hello, thank you for having me. The mission of Duncanville ISD Child Nutrition is always to provide the most nutritious, appetizing, and affordable meals possible to our students throughout the district. Our department highlights for this school year include new administrators. One of them is myself as department director, and a promotion of a kitchen cafeteria manager to a field supervisor where she supervises 8 campuses. We provide ongoing professional development to all of our staff. We start the year with in-person training. We provide monthly safety training and also take advantage of Texas Department of Agriculture and Region 10 learning opportunities. We have in-person monthly manager meetings. These meetings allow us to provide up-to-date information to the managers and allow the managers to communicate their individual needs to us as a team. We have an Employee of the Month program spotlighting the great work of one team member each month. In March, we celebrated National School Breakfast Week, encouraging students to begin the day with a healthy school breakfast. And then the first Friday in May is coming up, and that is School Lunch Hero Day. May 5th, we will be honoring our Duncanville ISD child nutrition workers for all that they do every single day on every campus. So we encourage anybody here to celebrate that with us as well, and hug a lunch lady. Staff engagement. I need to go to the next slide. Here are just some pictures of some of the staff engagement, and we believe that means spending time with all of our Duncanville ISD family, with each other within our department, and with the community. So here we have some examples of back to school night where we offer information on the menu, how to fill out a free and reduced meal application or any questions they might have, how to put money onto the school account so the students have those funds to purchase meals. Employee appreciation, we had the whole staff come by for some new uniforms and to get a little pre-Christmas treat right before break at the Child Nutrition Office. And then our Employee of the Month, that was for February, right there on the bottom right. So far this school year, we've served over 1.1 million meals. 83% of our students qualify for free or reduced lunches at this time. We have an after-school snack program, and that more and more campuses are beginning to do that for tutoring in preparation for testing. So we offer snacks free to anybody that are in that program. And as always, we'll be providing a summer feeding program this year, making meals available to anyone up to the age of 18 years old for free, regardless of their economic status. So we have open sites where anybody can come. They don't even have to be in Duncanville ISD, and they'll receive a free meal. Coming up for 23-24, we have a Texas Department of Agriculture administrative review, and that is a regular cycle that is required by USDA and TDA. So we're up for audit this year, and we're ready. We just purchased new point-of-sale hardware to support all of the campuses. Our software was outdated, the hardware was outdated, and we were fortunate enough to be able to get new systems that we are working on getting installed and ready for the beginning of next year. I just signed up this morning for TDA's Farm Fresh Challenge in October of 2023, and there are several components to that. We will be offering a minimum of 3 Texas-grown or Texas-produced foods every week of October. In addition, we'll be doing education, nutrition education on those items and other things, and also there is a social media content so that we will be posting that and let people see what we're doing to offer fresh, locally grown items in the cafeteria. We will also be forming a student parent advisory menu committee next year where we will meet quarterly so that students, parents, staff, anybody is welcome to come and give input on the menus. We will have actual tastings of the food that we serve in the cafeteria. We'll get feedback and also explain a little bit. I think there's a lot of misconception about lunch food and what that is and what it means and how we do it, so we'll be giving some education to that as well. I think student surveys as well will be happening every grade level, 2 at elementary, 2 at middle, 2 at high school, and probably elementary school will see something on paper where they can rate with smiley faces, and of course once you get up to high school you can just scan your QR code and put in the information, so making those age-appropriate surveys. The most exciting thing are menu enhancements. We have 6 new breakfast menu items that are coming. In grades K through 8, we will get 12 new entrees, and K through 8 will now have 2 entree choices every day. High school menu includes 9 new entrees that we are trying out. Of course, we'll start that off in the beginning of the year, and then we'll do those parent meetings and those student surveys, and they'll either say, wow, that was great, or that's not what we're looking for, and then we'll look and we'll change it up. I'm sorry, what did you say? Okay. I have a request for baked potatoes. I'm going to write that down. I think that's all I have right now. Does anybody have any questions for me? Yes, ma'am.
Was it a superhero lunch day?
Yes, May the 5th.
Just really quick, Elvin, what is it?
Okay, so it is a day to celebrate cafeteria workers, and yes, May the 5th. It's the first Friday of every May, and it's actually started by an author that writes books that were where cafeteria workers actually solve crimes. But he was inspired by all the caring that his cafeteria lady did for him when he was having issues and troubles growing up. And so he's put that day aside and partnered with the School Nutrition Association, which is a federal association for school nutrition, and they've made that a national holiday. Okay, thank you.
That's a very comprehensive overview. Super exciting about the lunchroom. I don't know if anybody's ever been excited like that about the lunchroom, right? The lunchroom. I'm super excited about the POS system, so great job. All right, at this time, we're going to have Ms. Brown come up to do the recommendation to the Board of Trustees for the curriculum for instruction of human sexuality. We have gone over this in previous meetings, so for instruction, anyone that wasn't here, they cannot vote.
Okay, brief overview. So, of course, only SHAC committee members, the guest presenters will not be voting, but I just wanted to kind of review. I did place at the tables, you do have the books just for further review, but I just wanted to review the adoption process. So the board adopted a resolution in January 2022 about the human sexuality, convening the SHAC to have those meetings. And so we have 2 public meetings. We had a public meeting on February 6th. That's where you all look through the textbooks, you look through the materials. We have the hard books, hard textbooks here, but the companion texts, which are the workbooks that you have, those are the textbooks that include the items involving human sexuality. But I do have the hard textbooks up here if you would like to review those as well. And so those are there for you to review. If you would like to get one of these books and have additional time to review, you can have those as well. And so the board will vote on the recommendations made by the SHAC in May. So I will take this before the school board in May. And the textbook that we have before us is already board adopted. It is our current health textbook. And so it would be the SHAC approving for our current health textbook adoption to be the curriculum for human sexuality. But it is required. And so parents would be notified prior to instruction. They would have to opt in. So it's not an opt out. It's an opt-in process. Parents will have to say, yes, I want my child to receive instruction related to human sexuality TEKS. So I just wanted to make that disclaimer because there's a difference between opting out and opting in. And so parents would have to intentionally say yes, and if they do not opt in, those students would be removed from the classroom when the teachers are teaching those various lessons on human sexuality. So the campus administrators would likely put them in a library or another teacher's classroom or have them somewhere else when this instruction is taking place. And so I just want to review the process while we're doing this. In 2020, the State Board of Education updated the health curriculum to include these TEKS. And so, like I said, these are statewide TEKS that are being taught. School districts, we have to have health instruction that is in alignment to the TEKS. We only offer health instruction for middle and high school students. So they do not have health instruction at the elementary and intermediate grades here. So it's only for middle and high school students. Again, we have to provide written notice to parents at least 14 days in advance to give them time to opt in. And the notice must include a brief a brief description, of what is to be taught. And so if at any time parents want to look through the textbooks, look through the curriculum, I want to know what is it my baby's being taught, what exactly does this entail, they have the right to inspect those materials. Of course, they would have to come to the school to inspect those materials, but the parents do have the right to inspect those materials and review them at any time. And so, again, it's only offered at our secondary campuses. We have to provide the notice and the description. And so those students will be sent home a letter where they would see it, and we also have an electronic version of the letter as well. So that communication would be going out. So the textbook that we adopted is the Goodhart-Wilcox curriculum. And so that was board approved for our health adoption. And so the district does not have to pay for a health curriculum because we've already adopted this book for our health TEKS. Some districts may adopt something else just for these particular subjects, but it's already covered in the curriculum that the district purchased. And this curriculum is also what the SHAC committee approved for the child abuse, family violence, dating violence, and human trafficking curriculum that was presented earlier. And so this is just a companion text. And so again, students that are in the general classroom would have the hard book. All students would have this as a class set. That companion text would not be given to students automatically. So again, that companion text that includes the sensitive topics that we see highlighted in yellow above, those are only provided to the students whose parents have opted in for their child to receive that instruction. So I wanted to give you a minute. If you have now had the opportunity to browse through, and you say, well, what do these topics look like? Here they are for middle school. So you have a middle school companion text and a high school companion text on your table. And I outlined those chapters where some of those sensitive topics are being discussed. So if you wanted to just take a minute or two and kind of browse around, flip through see what does that look like. For high school, it's predominantly Chapter 20. For middle school, primarily Chapter 17 and 19. And so these are the topics that the companion texts cover. And so that information is there for you to review. And this is what we reviewed last time. People had about, 10 minutes, I think, or so to browse the curriculum. So does anybody have any questions about the curriculum? I think everybody had an opportunity. Does anybody need any additional time to review the curriculum, the companion text? So I'm gonna let.
So at this time, we are going to present the items for discussion and recommendation to the board, the school board at Duncanville ISD. Are there any of the items in yellow that you guys would like to discuss further? Well, I think we're okay. So through indication of raising your right hand, you're giving us permission to proceed to recommend this curriculum to the board in May. All right, everything passes unanimously. Yes, super excited.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. So the next item that I'll be presenting to you, I have all three items back to back, is the annual SHAC report. And so that is also done at the end of the school year to present to the Board of Trustees. And so in May, I will be presenting the curriculum recommendation to the board. And then I would also like to present the annual SHAC report. So I'm just going to click on last year's report that was made to the board. And so you can see what it looked like. Had the cover. It just pretty much talk about, the purpose of the SHAC committee, the board policy, why we have the SHAC committee. It gave information from a SHAC survey, which you're going to take. There are QR codes on your table where we're going to ask you to use your phones to scan. It's a brief survey that we're going to need to collect input, and it had the meeting dates and times from last year, the members, the officers were highlighted, and then just committee meeting topics. So it pretty much summarized the topics for the year that were discussed by the different presenters of the SHAC. And so that was the annual board report. Some of the items I have not prepared because our year is not over with, and I wanted to collect survey results from the committee, but some of the items that I do plan on presenting for the annual board report do include, again, the purpose and requirements of the SHAC. Why do we even have this, right? It's a legal requirement. The members and the roles, everyone who participated on the committee throughout the year. Various committee meeting topics. Our two big highlights and accomplishments this year are the human sexuality curriculum and the curriculum for child abuse, family violence, dating violence, and human trafficking. So those were our two of our major highlights with making recommendations to the board. And just survey data. So I do want to make sure that before you leave, or actually if you have a minute, because I'm afraid that you'll dismiss it, you can use your phones. So if you would, be sure to scan that QR code. And I just wanted to briefly get some feedback for the survey. And so we will have that data. So I'm just going to kind of pause and give you a minute to fill that out, because I want to make sure we don't lose that. As you're filling that out, I'm going to continue to talk as you complete the survey. And it's also up here if you don't have, but you have the QR codes at your table. But it is a brief survey. And so one of the things I wanted to talk about is SHAC committee members and officers. So part of that survey is saying we need new SHAC committee members and officers. So Ms. Griffin has graciously served. Let's give her a hand clap, y'all. She's graciously served as our SHAC committee chair for 2 years. Mr. Hawkins has been our secretary. We have a vice chair. So they are only supposed to serve 2 years. Now, people can rotate. We most definitely love having everyone on the SHAC. People can always rotate jobs. So you can always rotate jobs or nominate someone for a different role. But we do need volunteers, and the committee chair or vice chair should be a parent. So we should have a parent as a committee chair or vice chair. And so if you know of anyone that is interested in serving, and I was going back, anyone that is interested in serving on the committee, I do want to explain how it goes, just so no one is intimidated by the SHAC committee. We help you. So the school districts helps you. We put together the PowerPoints, the agendas, we schedule, we reach out to district presenters. So if you were to serve on this role as chair or vice chair, or you know someone else, I don't want you to think, well, I don't put, there's a lot of responsibility. We really, really support you in that role. Yes, I wanted to emphasize, we really do. So if you volunteer to say, I'll serve as committee chair, or I'm interested in serving committee vice chair. At the beginning of the year, next year, we will be having elections. But like I said, the school district, we would draft the documents, the PowerPoints. We do not expect a parent to put together the agenda, making sure it's put online, the PowerPoints. We guide you through that. You would facilitate the meetings. You can help give input as a parent. Hey, I think this is an interesting topic. Could we discuss this? If it's related to school health, we can find the district person that is in charge, or maybe bring in an outside community speaker to provide information to the SHAC. So they would definitely be able to give us input on collaboration, but I just don't want anyone to think that if you were to volunteer, we would do the snacks, we would do the arrangements. So that would not be the responsibility of the parent. Do you have your food? Do you have your agenda? That's not what we do. So we really support you in that area, but we would welcome the input as far as topics, and then just leading the meeting, and of course recruiting additional people if we can find additional parents that may be interested in other school district employees. So we always have some teachers that serve on the committee at various campuses, campus administrators, and various department members that serve in the role of school health, counseling, nursing, nutrition are always members of the SHAC committee. But I just wanted to kind of put that information out there so that you're not intimidated by helping to support the SHAC. We will really help guide through the process. We want the input. We welcome the input. But I don't want you to think that you have to plan all of this. So I just had to put that disclaimer out there. Did everyone have time to complete the survey? Okay, so I wanted to make sure that you had time. Are there any questions about any information? So if you know good people, even people in the district, other employees, that you should please, there's a place where you should put the name of the person, recommend them. Oh, like in athletics is always a part of the SHAC committee. Certain people are standard SHAC committee members. Yes, I wanted to make sure. And so when we come back in the fall, we will be voting for a new chair, vice chair, and secretary, but we wanted to at least get recommendations in advance, so we're not scrambling in the next school year to search for members. No questions? Yeah, it's only 4 meetings a year, so we meet once per quarter. And you actually, by law, you could have all 4 meetings 4 months back to back if you wanted to. So we've just have them quarterly to space out, but you have to have 4 meetings per year. So I mean, ideally, if you did 4 in the fall, you could be done. Some people have over 4 meetings per year because they have a lot to talk about, a lot to discuss, but the requirement is only 4 per year. So thank you for that, Nurse Grant. Any other comments or questions about the SHAC? Okay. So that concludes my presentation.
Thank you, Ms. Brown. Anybody have any questions for our awesome chief? So one more time, hopefully we have 100% participation in the survey. That is very important. Parting words. Thank you guys for voting me 2 years ago of being the SHAC chair. I can concur that Ms. Brown really does all the work. She's so organized and amazing. And Dr. Halashka last year supported the process accordingly. And the great part is the culmination of the board report and all the things that we have achieved. And you really don't see it all come to fruition until you see that report. So be extremely proud of your contribution to the work that's being done and the impact on the scholars, faculty, and staff in Duncanville ISD. So on behalf of everyone over the last 2 years, thank you for all that you guys have done and your commitment to 4 times a year. Okay, well, if there's nothing else, you guys have no additional input or questions, this meeting has now adjourned for the final time in 22-23 school year at 5:14 PM. Thank you.